What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Talkin Smack with Jake Mack podcast.
Talkin Smack with
Talkin
Jake
Smack. I'm here with my first ever guest. His name is Bizzaro.
Mack.
Chris. He's the boy, and he's the first guest on the podcast. So,
Thank you for having me.
of course, we are not recording the actual video today because my computer is a little messed up and I ain't trying to fix it right now, and he's got to leave in like 50 minutes. So
You got a good hour.
we got a good hour. So we're gonna make this happen. We got a lot of great fun stuff to talk about today. Starting with, do you want to talk about this?
Justice for Madison.
Yeah, okay, we can start with Justice for Madison. So, I never seen Love on the Spectrum before, but I've seen like clips on the internet, and I was like, wow, this seems. The first thing I saw recently was that video of Tanner meeting Jack Black,
Yeah.
and I thought that was cute as hell. And I was like, man, look at this little guy. And then Chris came over yesterday and randomly put on the season 3. So we started from season 3, and wow, what a.
Are you happy that I now introduced you to the rabbit hole of Love on the Spectrum?
Low key, because I kind of, we were like watching and audibly reacting to the show. Like,
I feel like with Love on the Spectrum, if you think about all these like reality dating shows, which like I haven't really watched any.
yeah, not really.
I think I watched like maybe like an episode or 2 of Love Island.
I've seen a few episodes with my girlfriend
Yeah.
because she like just puts it on, and that's a show for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, I could see the appeal to the viewers, but I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't gravitate towards reality. I watched like all of Jersey Shore, and that's about it.
For me, I was like growing up. I used to watch The Real Housewives with my mom.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "What is this? This is BS. Why are they on TV?" But with Love on the Spectrum, I think like the appeal of it for me is when you think about like the broad view that most people. Do I want to say most people? I think some people fail to recognize like the emotional and just like intelligence of people who are on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think like this show, as long as I know 100% like that these people are willing to be on the show, and it's not like people like
Exploitation.
Tanner, Connor. Well, Tanner lives on his own. So
Does he?
Yeah, he lives in
Okay.
that
Oh yeah, with the boys.
with his two
Yeah.
roommates. Like for some of the people, I feel like, why are you putting your kid on the show?
Yeah. Well, I think there is some sort of nature of exploitation, not in the sense because the people with autism on the show seem like conscious enough to. I mean, obviously, autistic people are conscious. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like, if they're very severely on the spectrum, they might not have like the, reasoning skills to be like, yeah, I fully consent to be on this and possibly be exploited.
Yeah.
But like, so they seem all, rational enough to make that choice. But with that comes like weird people watching the show. They might try to like only be friends with them because they're on the show. And then it's like, what's the true?
Which is, I think, is what happened with James. I think James has all these friends out because of the show.
Yeah.
And because, like, he's, like, he's quirky.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's why people, like, gravitated towards him. Like,
And,
oh,
bro,
wow, look who I'm friends
the
with.
episode, the first episode with George, what was his name? George? No, what's the, Connor, yeah. That date he went on with that girl, the blonde one, and he was like,
Yeah, and she was like,
I speak.
loved... Yeah. Speak. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was like, I loved watching you in the first I fell in love watching you in the first 2 seasons. And I was like, that's
There's gotta be...
cute, but also
people
a little
who-
overwhelming for bro.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
bet.
people reaching out and with that intent. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, we're getting a little controversial now for whoever is in into Love on the Spectrum. The Danny Adon,
Oh yeah.
this mysterious man.
Yeah,
who
because
has covers
we've
on
only
it.
seen, I've only seen literally 3 episodes of the show. But the
Yeah.
last thing, bro, her with the animation, she was like, "Happy 1 year, it's time to do the dude."
Yeah, you want to
Like,
do the dude, and the dude was all caps.
Yeah, and they animated her. She animated them like going to town. I was like, "Yo,"
Like,
and he seems like a little bit uncomfortable. Like he's just like, "Yeah, as long as we do it, safe and stuff." And she's like, "Yeah, we're safe," and not really Loki, not really acknowledging that he might be like a little uncomfortable with it.
Well, I think like
Because she brought it up like 3 times.
yeah,
It's
and
like-
also was trying to tongue punch him.
Yeah, like yeah.
She was trying to infiltrate. Like
And she was like
alien.
She was like biting his ear, and he was like, "I'm not comfortable with that." And she was like, but then she said she respected his boundaries.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you? If you're like really pushing, I feel like that. Like, why you talk about that on camera? And like, that's like just such an uncomfortable subject. Talking about
And now
my
we
man
got
losing
mystery man.
Yeah, now I don't know anything about that or what happens in the season, but like,
Me either. I haven't watched.
Chris is saying that on her social media, she has like,
there's like 2 posts where I'm gonna yap while I look this up, but there's like this one St. Patrick's Day picture with, like, if it was a Don, why is his face blurred out? You know what I mean?
yeah. So I don't.
And the caption's getting lucky tonight. Hope you are too. This guy's also very evidently
White.
white.
Yeah, and Adon's a little.
And Adon is
Actually, I'm not sure.
ethnically ambiguous as am I.
Yeah.
Well, he's tan. You know.
Yeah, he's tan. That guy looks pretty white in the video.
He looked. Yeah.
But he's got this like she put this emoji over his face. I'm like, that's not my boy.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's not Adon. I don't know what's gonna happen. A lot of the comments are like, imagine it's just Adon under there.
Then he wouldn't be blurred out though.
Why? Yeah. Why would he be blurred out?
That's weird.
Yeah.
And-
Look. Oh, and then there's post under it. Danny met a boy with the eyes of a man. I don't know
What?
if it's Adon or not.
Why?
Because you don't see his face.
Yeah, why is he covered? That's not him. That's not.
Yeah, you know what? No,
That's
Adon's
not
a
him.
lot taller than her.
And also, he just like looks white from the back.
Yeah.
And Adon's like whatever. I thought he might have been like Arab, but he might also be like some sort of.
I think he's. He might. I think he's.
Well, just the name.
I forgot what. I think he says it in like an earlier season, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But he's definitely something Hispanic.
But our biggest quarrel with the episode. So there's the girl Madison, right? Yeah, Madison.
Who this is
So-
her introduction, and she's such a sweet.
Yeah, such a nice girl, and like pretty. I don't want to say normal because obviously the autism spectrum is broad and like on the topic, Chris is allegedly on the spectrum as well.
Yeah.
But you could explain that?
The doctor that said it does not practice anymore, so I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna say that. I definitely have moments. I definitely like catch myself.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend got me with a pretty wicked stim.
Oh yeah, on the FaceTime.
On FaceTime,
Yeah.
she was screen recording something else, and I had a wicked spin. I had to grab a fidget spinner and start like spinning it to calm me down. I don't know what happened.
But
And I
yeah,
was like,
so
"Ooh."
allegedly autistic here.
Allegedly autistic.
And then our best friend Stan is confirmed autistic. But he's also, when he was younger, it was more evident, and now it's like you wouldn't know.
Yeah, and I think that's the case with Madison.
She's like a little.
She might be like more like she just might be a Disney adult. Quite honestly, in my opinion, I think that's kind of what it is. Or
Yeah, but
like,
she was such like a nice girl, and then she was so excited to go on this date, and meet her Prince Charming.
Prince Charming,
And-
and then right before this guy sits down, she goes, "I hope my family would like him. I hope my friends are gonna like him." Like quite honestly, I wouldn't set super high expectations for a blind date. but also for her, it's her first experience and she's like excited.
Yeah.
I think when the doctor came, I think she said she's never been even on a date.
Yeah.
Ever.
So they set her up with, listen, he seemed like a sweet guy, but they set her up with like the opposite of what she was looking for. Like, she likes the nice little social environment, you know, and
he's crouching.
He's like crouching under the table. Me and Chris are watching this with like our hands over our mouths, like, what?
Yeah. Like, what
this poor girl, like, she was asking questions.
And her face, her smile was just like
gone.
Slowly, every time it panned to her, the frown, like
the
existential dread in her face. And I'm like, you know how you should watch the other seasons, because if you look like at Abby, and I can't think of her boyfriend's name, but like she's definitely a little more like socially outgoing than him, but not to a point where they wouldn't compliment each other at all. And like with this date, it got me so upset.
Yeah, we were just so upset.
You know, he couldn't be in environments at all. Like he couldn't be in social environments.
But I know the showrunners are probably just trying to like make something a little more like dramatic, you know, because she didn't set this date up.
That's
you know,
but like
that's the thing. That's kind of
who set it up.
Yeah, like why you took like the polar opposite
of this
her,
girl,
and you got to know that like this is a TV show. Like there's production that goes into this.
Yeah.
And if you're setting this up, you're like, we're gonna get this guy who like can't be in a public space, and that's okay. We're not saying that's not okay, but like set her up with this girl. And like,
yeah, and you're supposed to be, you know, and then he puts the headphones in.
Yeah,
he's white like, noise headphones.
Yeah, and she's talking.
She's trying
and
to talk, and they even stopped playing the music, like, you know, like they have like the background music, like they stopped it too, and it's like you're adding the effect of what he's experiencing or what she's experiencing of talking to a wall.
Yeah,
like that's messed up.
Yeah.
Like that was messed up.
Like, obviously nothing against that guy. At the end of the day, he seemed like a sweet dude.
He was definitely a sweet dude.
But just not the match for this girl. And I just, like, the way they built it up with her finding, like, obviously it's episode, like, 2.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not going to... but that's the thing. There's, like, a setup. It's not like it's maybe not a firm setup, but there's got to be some development throughout the process. So it's like, what is actually... You know, when you're producing a show, especially reality TV, you can't just... A lot of times you can't just let the cameras roll and then run it, because then you might not get content that you could use.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of... I mean, think about even in their houses. They got, like, the multi-camera angle setups.
Yeah.
Do you think they're not talking to them before they start running rolling the camera, like, what they're going to talk about? Like, there's got to be some sort of...
I don't think the girl who went on the date with Connor, like, how the mom was saying, like, somebody who goes to her hair salon's daughters or cousin, that was like, I can't think of that one clip, that one movie clip. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. It might be a Jim Carrey thing.
I forget.
Maybe, I don't even know.
But yeah, I just thought that was giving me a...
Like, what is the vetting process that they go through to put them on the blind dates? When they go to the speed dating, it's a whole other animal. But
even with the speed dating, again, big camera setup. Like, these people know they're going on a show.
Yeah, they definitely had to give consent.
Because it's a whole setup.
Yeah.
It's not just like... It's not like Impractical Jokers or like What Would You Do, where there's like some, you know, secret camera. It's like, no, this is like a produced
like
thing.
The Carbonaro effect?
Yeah.
A hidden camera. Magic TV shit.
That show's kind of
I hate the Carbonaro effect. Let me
Oh no.
Let's diverge. I hate the Carbonaro effect so much.
I used to like it when I was young.
For me, it was like, you know, that's all stage. You know, it's all staged, in my opinion.
Because some of the stuff he was doing was just like,
Yeah, like, come on now.
bro has a deep-rooted hatred for Michael
Michael
Carbonaro.
Carbonaro.
Michael Carbonaro.
Yeah.
What did Mike do, bro? That remember True TV was just like Impractical Jokers, and then
That's what it is. If now,
and now we have two assault cases against
Murr and Joe.
yeah, and it's like okay, well there goes that.
Yeah,
Joe
I mean,
already,
Joe is
but it kind
already
of makes sense.
disassociated from the show, but
You know how people have that theory that Michael Jordan left the Bulls because of like a gambling issue,
yeah,
and, or like a debt of some sort, and that's why like he didn't just retire, like he had to,
yeah,
and then his dad died, and that was like the whole like someone killed his dad, and there's a whole theory that that's all connected. I wouldn't be surprised if someone knew to some extent that like shady things were occurring because Joe really left out of nowhere, you know, and then
Well, I think there was a cheating scandal, and that's why Joe left. Let me
You think
look this
so?
up. I think he cheated, or if I look up Joe and Practical Jokers, I know it.
so Joe canceled all of his tours,
Yeah.
so he had to do something, which sucks. Like why can't there just be like a norm? I swear to God, Sal, my king, don't you dare. Sal better not come out with some crazy shit. I'll be very upset.
he left due to personal reasons. in
That's the thing. It's like
2022.
personal reasons, like stuff with his.
Well, he was going through a divorce.
Yeah, but then he got back with his wife. But like the month he got back with his wife is when that woman,
When
the girl allegedly, yeah.
posted all those videos.
Well, those were posted recently, but that's when she said it happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then now I know less about the Murr stuff.
I have no idea about the Murr stuff.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he's publicly addressed it.
No, he probably won't.
That's crazy. But like,
Maybe just an apology.
sorry for
Yeah, sorry.
sexually assaulting you
Yeah.
on Instagram.
So, because that's what they do. That's what they do, bro. Like that, celebrities. We put people on such a high pedestal that, like, in the grand scheme of things, some of these people, like you think about Diddy, and you think about, I'm trying to think about somebody else who had like
Well, I mean the whole Epstein thing.
the Epstein thing. You know, you think about situations like that, and it's like, these people.
I feel like the bigger question is not who's involved, it's who's not involved.
Yeah,
You know, it's like who's not involved. Because like a lot of celebrities were at these Diddy parties, you know?
Yeah,
Like
and
even if I mean
well,
a lot of
think
them
was it LeBron used to leave early or something.
I
Somebody
don't
used
know.
to leave early.
but I mean a few celebrities have gone to them but didn't really know that was what it was about. I don't like you remember
Yeah.
they brought like young Justin Bieber to one of those? You hear about that?
Yeah, but have you seen
1,000 bottles of baby oil. So we do it.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy. He's like, yeah, we sell them at Costco, and Costco was like, we do not sell baby oil in bulk.
Yeah.
Officially, they announced.
Let me get 1 pallet of baby oil.
Who needs that much? One baby oil.
One baby oil will maybe
you a
last you
lifetime.
like 3 years.
Yeah.
If I don't even use baby oil anymore, but I used to have really dry skin. I used to use baby oil after the shower. That would last me like 3 years when I was in high school.
Yeah. So what did they were like slipping and sliding off of each other with all that baby oil?
Slip and slide.
Like I saw a video of like a video of a Diddy party, and he was like up on like a balcony. He was like, "All right, pretty soon in like an hour, we're gonna send all the kids home or whatever, and like it's about to get And he was
Yeah.
just basically insinuating that's about to get freaky as hell. Like,
Yeah.
man, these people. You know why?
Freaky.
You know why though? Because these celebrities just like they get bored. They
Yeah.
get bored. Like what do you do with all that fame and power? You get bored. That's why there's like every celebrity has some sort of cheating scandal. Everyone, but the thing is, in the long run, as long as it's not some like crazy stuff, if it's like a cheating scandal, they get away with it.
Well, if you
They
think
get-
about like Terry Crews has a great story. I don't know if you like with
With his dad.
not his dad, with he had a porn addiction,
Oh yeah, I've seen
and I
that.
think he cheated too.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but like he fixed that with his wife, and now they have like a super healthy relationship.
Even long celebrity marriages, it's like who knows,
Yeah.
It like how easy must it be for like an A-lister or a B-lister to cheat? You know, even it doesn't even matter what list you're in. Like you'll have someone. There'll be someone who's giving you like whether it's a co-star or some rando who's like in your DMs or like, you know,
Yeah.
on the street.
They got the Sydney Sweeney thing now with
Oh yeah, Glenn Powell.
Colin, Glenn Powell.
Yeah, so she's no longer the think she broke up with her fiance.
Yeah, she broke up with her
And
fiance.
then her and Glenn Powell were spotted together.
Well, not even that. When they were filming whatever they were.
Oh yeah,
together,
well the Anyone But You.
Was it Anyone But You?
I think it's Anyone But You.
Well, no, I know that's what they
We're filming.
That's what they initially like met.
Yeah.
Co-starred. But I just saw another thing. It is like the hair effect, and her hair was like turning curly again, and like apparently there's a science to that like your hair goes to its natural form when you're around somebody that you love.
My hair is straight all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I'm in front of Nicole or in front of you or all by myself. My hair does not get wavy. That's my curse. That's
is your hair ever wavy?
Never.
I've came out with curls, and then I used to straighten my hair so much that it's wavy.
Yeah. I've just been straight hair since the moment I came out.
Yeah.
It was just like, and I've gotten perms, like 4 or 5 perms, and I think they cause like permanent damage to my hair. Because like you really, if any of you think about perms out there, I mean like do it like once or twice, bro. Like because I don't think doing that over and over again is healthy for your hair. It's kind of like bleaching your hair over and over again.
Yeah.
Eventually, it just kind of looks dead. And I had like a perm where I think they left the rods in for too long, and now I have like permanent breakage in my hairline on one side. You see?
Oh yeah.
How it's like weird here.
Yeah,
like,
look at that.
But this isn't even recession. That's like literal because it's not there.
Yeah.
It's only on this side. So it's like now I look like I have half of a receding hairline, and I'm like, that's not fair.
It's gonna
That's
not
not
do
fair.
the full the screen wipe.
Yeah,
The screen effects.
that is not fair that I have this like hat, and it makes me like insecure sometimes. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to do a slick back, but I got like this one. But usually, like it depends on the lighting, but sometimes like I don't think you'd notice because it's like there's still hair there. It's just like fine.
Yeah.
But I really think they like burnt my hair off, and then my hair gave up.
They tell me at work that my hair's thinning, and I'm like, you guys are just jealous because you're balding.
Yeah. You're also working with people like twice your age.
Yeah, yeah.
Very young firefighter over here.
Yep.
Well, not very young.
Yeah, young enough.
23.
23. For where I work, I don't work in a big town. I work in like a rural, woodsy area, and there's only 14 of us. And like I'm in a class right now with some other paid guys. It's like there's volunteers in the class and career, and there's people from Edison. They have 148 people. We have 14 full time.
Yeah.
In my district that I work in, because I don't work municipal. I work district, which that's not a conversation for the pod.
I work municipal.
Yeah.
Time to explain why.
So that's our little love on the spectrum plus whatever.
Oh yeah, how did we just sidetrack?
I don't even know. We were talking about the exploitation thing.
Oh yeah, and then we got into celebrities and
So
stuff.
with this mystery man on Danny Bowman's Instagram, I think he might be a regular dude, and he was probably watching and like, wow, she really wants to get intimate with someone, and completely took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And
that's a thing with like I don't know if this is dicey conversational territory, but I feel like if you are it really depends, but if you're autistic, you should probably be dating someone else on the spectrum. Because
I don't know.
it depends. It depends on your like
Or you say, well, I think Madison's a lot more neurotypical than
yeah,
most, and then you also have that with Connor. Like he's a little more.
But even
like,
even Madison said that she's like emotionally a child.
yeah,
So like if you get, I'm not saying that like you can't, if you're, I'm not saying autistic people aren't normal at all,
yeah,
or that they can't date someone normal. It's just honestly, it's about who they're dating
yeah.
and their intentions.
Depends if they're a shitty person.
Yeah,
or not,
like
for
if they're
sure.
if they're shitty, they saw love on the spectrum and they're like, you know, I wonder if I could get in there, and now they have like malicious intent because they know maybe that they're psychologically just not, you know, at the same level of emotional regulation and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
like easier to take advantage of someone like that.
No, absolutely.
So
And
it really
like,
depends.
Let's talk about the Switch too. Let's get into that.
The PS5 was 500 5 years ago.
I think it was $699.
Now it's five.
That might be the Pro. I'm thinking of.
Yeah, probably. But the the PS5 was 500 5 years ago, and people weren't really complaining about that, and I got it for 500, and the Switch 2 is 450, and like now I get it in this economy, it's tough, but I've also I read something that like gaming is kind of
It's a middle class hobby.
quote
so to
unquote
speak.
middle class hobby, but and
I sent you that, right?
yeah, I think you might have, and I mean if you think about it, Nintendo was the first one to like do these $60 games. Like Nintendo was dropping N64 games in the 90s for $60. And like adjusted for inflation, what's that? Probably like 100.
I think now it would be $120 if you wanted to talk about inflation. But it's not even about the inflation. Like, gaming used to be a very niche thing, and it's now it's more accessible than ever for people. And yeah, game prices are gonna go up. Do I want to pay $80 for Mario Kart World? Absolutely not. But you know what? I want to play the game. I'm not there making it. I'm not putting the cartridge together. I'm not spending years developing this. I'm gonna enjoy the game, and I'm deciding that I want to buy it, and I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on the price. Maybe I'll take some more overtime. Maybe I'll take an overtime shift. Maybe I'll do something else. Like, if that's what I have to do to enjoy this experience, because you're paying for an experience.
I just think I just think for some people it's it came kind of out of nowhere. I mean, because Nintendo, I mean, they were making DS games for like 40, which was pretty affordable, and it was just 60 for the longest. And then we had Tears of the Kingdom, which was 70 out of nowhere. But Tears of the Kingdom was like a pretty big game.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even quite I was like, oh, $70, like come on. And then I understand how the whiplash or how jarring it could be to pay $80 for a digital game or $90 for a physical one.
Well, that's not in the U.S. It's $80 for the physical, 70 for the digital.
Okay, well then that's better. But,
for what it says right now, I mean, it could change. I think it might be with I think Nintendo omitted, like, they didn't talk about the price at all, and I think that's because, the 450 and then the video game prices, I think that was like a pre-tariff like decision.
oh yeah, they might have not spoke about it because they were waiting to see how like the tariffs would impact us. I think they were waiting to assess the market after the tariffs would drop.
But I mean, that's
they could,
why the 450 price point is what it is. And
I mean, but they could have waited if they knew. I mean, if the tariffs were releasing, which we all knew was going to happen, they could have just delayed the announcement for like a week and then reassessed at that point. Because now pre-orders are
delayed until further notice.
Notice.
Unless something came out, I haven't seen anything.
Listen, I'm gonna pay the $450 because I want the console.
Yeah, hopefully it stays $450.
I mean, I hope it stays. I mean, if it go, I mean, I'm not paying anything above $500 for a Nintendo console. I mean, I know they have the $500 bundle for Mario Kart, but above that, I just can't. Like, and it's not going to be discounted anytime soon. I'm just hoping it's not the same situation as the PlayStation 5 when that came out, or even the Xbox. But I think the PS5 was more like sought after. I remember it would just sell out instantly. Like you'd refresh the website and it'd be gone, immediately gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I don't feel like doing that.
I remember sitting in my college dorm, like refreshing the Sony website over and over and over again.
Or just waiting.
And then I lucked out.
I remember my mom's friends had like found, because their kids wanted it, so they found this way to like, they wrote like a list of things to do.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but it was like a list of what to do to get it, what time, when to refresh, like stuff like that. I'm like, damn, these ladies had it on lock.
Oh yeah.
For their youngins. But I'm just hoping it's not a situation like that where it just becomes an inaccessible console. Because here's the thing, everyone's yapping about the price, and I get it. I actually do understand and get it, but everyone's gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, there's like one picture that I keep seeing, and it's like Squidward with his hands on his hips, like, I can't, like, we need to drop the price, and then it's like, people on June 5th.
People on June, everyone.
It's like people on April 4th, or whatever the Switch 2 Direct was, maybe it was the 3rd, and then it's like picture of Squidward holding a receipt, and has like a Switch 2, like, superimposed.
Yeah, everyone's gonna get it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start a little Switch 2 savings fund for myself, or it's around my birthday. You never know. But I'm excited to see what, because the console itself I'm impressed with. Because I guess you also got to think of, for people complaining about the price, you got to think of what you're paying for at this point. It is 4K capable, has HDR, capable of 120 frames per second.
And it's a handheld.
It's becoming like an industry. Nintendo has kind of finally caught up to industry standard specs. Yeah. And we were watching that comparison video earlier on like
Cyberpunk,
and it was running Cyberpunk, just fine. And obviously the PS5 is in the PS5 Pro.
I think a lot of those clips they were showing the PS5 Pro though, and it's like, how are you going to compare the Pro model of the PlayStation to the Switch 2? Also, how are you going to compare PlayStation and Nintendo? That's how it's always been, and
I think that it looked. I think it, when it was comparing it to the PS4, it looked just as good as the PS4, if not a little better in some parts.
Yeah.
So.
And two, like with the Steam Deck comparisons. Oh, I would just get a Steam Deck. I could get my games so much cheaper if I had a Steam Deck.
Listen, you do.
Get the Steam Deck then.
Everyone should do what they want with their money.
But with these people, it's like, if you want to pay for the cheaper for games on Steam for cheaper, then go, be my guest, enjoy. Like
the thing with Nintendo is that it tends to be a little bit more of an experience in terms of, because these are first party games releasing that Nintendo has, their IPs that are very specific to Nintendo, like Mario, Zelda, all the rest. And like I said, those IPs are exclusive and part of Nintendo's brand. Like if you look at Sony or Xbox, they don't really have any things that are any figures that are.
They don't have any entities anymore.
Yeah,
or they're not using them. They're just sitting on them. Microsoft's sitting on Banjo and Kazooie. I guarantee.
Yeah.
That if they made a new Banjo game.
Of course, like they have Sony has their game exclusives like Spider-Man, and some like those Insomniac games are coming out, like the Wolverine,
Captain America, like 1942 or whatever.
So I mean that's cool, but those aren't like deeply associated with the console itself. No, so I feel like when you're Nintendo's presentation, and they're just good at making games, Yeah. They're just good at making games, and.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, I will riot if I don't get a Star Fox game.
You do want your Star Fox.
I am such a Star Fox fan, and I'm like waiting. And when they did the Kirby Air Ride announcement, and it was just like black, like space. I'm thinking. I mean, there were no stars, but I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be Star Fox.
Some people thought it was a Smash trailer.
Yeah.
But I saw a video and I was thinking about it, is that Nintendo's turnover time for games is getting like really bad. Like we got 2 Zelda games in this almost decade span, but like they used to crank out in a decade you'd have like 4. Actually, I don't even know how much it applies to Zelda, maybe a little less, but Mario, we got 1. Mario Odyssey came out
Yeah.
in 2017, whatever it was, 2016. That was the only 3D Mario platforming experience. Like, obviously, they low-key release, like, a Mario game every year.
Oh yeah.
But
to some extent.
I'm talking about, like, I'm not talking about Mario Party or, like, a Mario RPG game. I'm talking about, like a 3D Mario...
Wonder,
Yeah, like a 3D Mario experience. Same thing with, like, Zelda. And I don't know. I just feel like it took Nintendo like 7 years to make the same game again with Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah.
They just took Breath of the Wild.
Just added a sky.
Because they took like 4 years, or however, not 4 years, but they took like, oh my god, I forgot how long it was, but just with Ultra Hand and like all that stuff, they took, and the building system.
Uh-huh.
I think they went through like a year or two, or I don't even remember how long it was specifically, but just testing that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. It's a cool system, but I'm kind of looking for. I mean, we're both low-key unks when it comes to like Nintendo, so we kind of appreciate the old Zelda formula
Yeah.
a little bit more than like this new open concept thing. I think for a novelty, it's cool, and I think it was a cool direction to go. But now we're beating this. I want to leave the Tears and the Breath of the Wild stuff in the past. Like, we've had 4 games associated, like the Age of Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and now we're getting Age of Imprisonment.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not really a fan of those.
Drop the Dynasty Warriors thing. There's I think there's like 6. There's one on the 3DS.
Yeah.
There's one on the Wii U. There might be 2 on the 3DS. But I actually think that's Hyrule. Let me look up how many Hyrule Warriors games there are.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not really a fan of that shtick, and it doesn't feel as serious. It's like, I know there is some story elements, but listen, I'm just not a fan of the Dynasty Warriors situation. It just doesn't really feel like a Zelda game. It just feels like you're slapping on skins to these characters.
Oh, there's 4.
Oh, there's 4?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, there's definitely.
Like, they're cool, but not like when I was really hoping that they would announce. Like, I know Tears of the Kingdom only came out like 2 years ago.
6.
Oh, there's 6. I know
There's
Tears
6
of
if you include
Age of
the
Imprisonment.
limited editions, the definitive editions.
Oh, okay. But I was hoping that in this Nintendo Direct, I mean, I know Tears of the Kingdom only came out like 2 years ago, and we also just got what's the Wisdom? What?
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom, which I haven't beat. I still have to beat that.
Good game.
So I'm not like begging for a new 3D Zelda title, but I was kind of hoping that they would do like a Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD re-release.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of
They'll
expecting.
still do it.
Yeah, they'll probably
They'll still do it, even though
But they
that's
also
gonna be
the
on
first thing
virtual
they
console.
did, yeah, that the first thing they did for Virtual Console was show Wind Waker, and I was like, maybe they're like, guys, we ain't releasing this anytime soon, so you could play it this way.
Yeah, but they did like Mario 64's on the virtual console, and then they did the 3D
That's
All
true.
Stars or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I want easy access to Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
My Wii U is busted. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. It just shit the bed one day, and now I can't play Wind Waker or Twilight Princess HD. I do have a GameCube, which I could play Wind Waker on, but just like setting it up, I get too lazy to want to do that. So I'm excited that at least the Switch 2 has the GameCube Virtual Console, because I think people were itching for that.
Thank God I still have my old CRTV.
Yeah, just so much. You just have to turn it on.
Yep.
This thing I got like the HDMI. It's like, and sometimes the TV doesn't like it and wants to like shit itself or not turn on. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was the one thing. I don't know why my parents kept that TV for so long, but I'm happy that they did because now I have that. I still haven't beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Unk could not beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Unk cannot beat Tears of the Kingdom.
I had to get Stan to
force
me to beat it. Like, he would pull up to my house. He'd be like, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, play. He's like, beat it. I could show you where to go. And then he would show me where to go. And then I finally beat it. And I was like, cool. I mean, like, I feel like those games are, like, beautiful disasters.
Yeah.
You know? And just, in my opinion, they're just kind of...
The Pokemon effect.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
ZA on the Switch, too? Oh.
Yeah, that better... I love the Legends concept, and I actually really enjoyed that game.
And that's what they need to do with this open world Zelda thing. Make it like the Legends games. Like, yeah, they could be associated with the story. Like, you know, ZA is a sequel to X and Y, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lumos X and Y. But you got to detach, maybe go back to the original formula. I think it's easier. The original formula might be easier for a newer audience. I think that Nintendo, in some aspects, does like a little too much for like fan service. Like they're like, oh, like I need open world Zelda. Like why do we have Dark Souls and Elden Ring and blah blah blah? I want that with Zelda, and then they're just like. And out came, you know, fresh of breath air.
Zelda fresh of
breath air.
Breath of fresh air.
If anybody got that listening, that's a sound bite from a gorilla song.
Fresh of breath air.
Yeah.
Or breath of fresh air.
No, fresh of breath air. It's it was on the Humans. I'll play it for you. It's like one of the I can't remember which song it was.
You really got me for a second because fresh of breath air for a moment sounded normal. I was like, fresh of breath air? All right.
It's like at the end of the song, and he's like, why don't you step outside and take a fresher breath air?
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
I like that.
I like that. I think Zelda would benefit from going back to its roots a little bit. Because I think...
And not in the
these
Echoes
new games,
of Wisdom... Echoes of Wisdom aspect.
No, like just a straight semi-linear open world Zelda game. Because Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, like I said, they're great games for what they are, but I also... That's not really what... Like, what I play Zelda for is the epic... The cool dungeons, the cool items...
I feel like the progression...
The plot progression... And in those games, there's no... The dungeons are mid. There's no actual cool items. They're just stuff you get at the beginning of the game. There's no, like, the cool curiosity, discovery aspect about it. They just throw it at you.
Yeah.
There's...
Like, for me, with Breath of the Wild, I did all of the shrines before I even went to the first dungeon. I maxed out.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was looking up...
Because you could do it in any way you want. And, I mean, that's cool. But they did it. I think they should do a mix in for the next game. Balance it out between the old formula and this completely open world formula. Like, I think you could keep that open world, but aspects of it you could only access with, like, a certain thing. Like, you could have the map be that big, I feel, to an extent. But, like,
Wind Waker was huge.
Keep the dungeons. Like, I know that they tried in Tears of the Kingdom to make the dungeons a little more traditional, but there was, like, one good like the Thunder Temple, the Lightning Temple, whatever it was, in the desert, the Gerudo Desert.
Yeah.
That felt a little more like a traditional Zelda temple. The Fire one, Water one was ass. And... What is it, the Wind one?
Yeah.
That one was okay. But, like, that, I usually walk away from a Zelda game like, wow, look at the dungeons in Skyward Sword. Some great dungeons there. Twilight Princess. Dope.
Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Ocarina. Even, like, well, it's not if we're talking 3D Zelda, but like, if we had like a 3D like 4 swords,
Yeah.
dude, and not well, no, that was 2D Triforce Heroes. It
Remember
was
Triforce Heroes? That I think multiplayer Zelda games struggle because it's just like no one's really doing it.
Oh, now you can get the Switch 2 camera.
Now you get the Switch 2 camera and have someone like spreading
You could get the
spreading cheeks online in the camera of Mario Party Jamboree.
Sorry, my personal trainer texted me, and I just like completely disassociated. I also realized it's 2:30.
Oh yeah.
So that is my time to depart.
Well, guys, it's been about an hour, so we got a good amount of.
This will be a 30-minute episode if you cut the rambling
If
out.
cut,
If you cut the rambling out, maybe we'll get 15 minutes.
if you cut Chris's rambling out, we might end up with a 30-minute episode. But we'll see.
I'm sure I think 15 might be a little wordy.
Yeah, a little 15-minute. Any guys? What? Anyway, guys.
Hey guys, you guys.
Hello, guys. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the Talkin' Smack with Jake Mack podcast. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris, for being my first amazing guest.
Thank you for having me. Sorry for rambling, guys.
It's all right. This is what we do. And I will hopefully have another episode out soon. And I will see y'all later.